How y'all tonight?
Good.
Have y'all been having fun at Elvis Week?
Oh, yeah.
I recognize some of y'all. So y'all probably recognize this guy. This guy was the co-pilot of the Lucibill Rd aircraft. And he flew with Elvis for many, 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 many years. And he also did a lot of other stuff. So Ron, I know you have things that you like to talk about Elvis, but we also, once you're done, let's talk about you. Let's talk about some of your history and that kind of stuff. Is that cool?
That's fine.
All right, so I'm gonna let Ron take it away, y'all.
Good evening, everyone. This is going to take about an hour, and then I'll sign autographs for free, whatever you want. And I guess they're free, aren't they?
No, they're not free.
They're not free.
Anyway, I'll just talk about my career, flying career, and then the main reason you all came here is for Elvis, and I'll tell you about flying him and the different things that we've done. But anyway, I was born in Northwest Iowa farm community, and I took my first airplane ride, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and I fell in love with it. And I've been flying, working, buying, selling airplanes for 55 years. I made a living 46, 7 years, something like that. But anyway, I'd like to introduce a couple of people. First, my daughter, Tammy, stand up, say hi to everyone. My son flies for the airlines and he couldn't be here. So, Sally, stand up. Sally wrote the book. She's the author of Destination, Destined to Die Young. And it's a great book. You ought to read it. And I read it twice. First time I read it real quick. The second time I read it page by page. It's 335 pages or something like that, and it's well worth it. Anyway, I went in the Air Force when I was 17, and I was underage, so my parents had to sign for me, and they weren't real happy campers. But anyway, I went in the Air Force and started off as an aircraft and engine mechanic on a B-47, which was a 6-engine jet bomber, and my initial job on it was I had two things to do: clean the honey bucket and scour the flaps, and that's at the bottom, really the bottom. But anyway, then I worked myself up to crew chief, and then in the mid-60s, of course, the Vietnam War was really getting heavy, and the Air Force bought the new C-141A. And I volunteered, if you had certain curve fields, and if you volunteered, the Air Force would accept you. And I flew flight engineer on that for from the mid-60s to January 70, and logged 3,400 hours and over 100 combat support missions. No, not combat missions, but combat support missions. And then I got my A&P at Aircraft and Power Plant license, and then my private pilot's license, and then I got out of the Air Force. And at the time, the GI Bill, if you had a private, they would pay 90% of it. And I got all my ratings through the GI Bill. And then I got hired with the airlines, went out to Berlin, Germany, and flew the Convair 990 over there, both as the pilot and as an engineer. I got furloughed, and then I flew flight engineer and co-pilot on the 880. Same airplane that Elvis got, or similar type airplane. If you can fly the 880, you can fly the 990, it didn't matter. And then I got hijacked during that time. And then I went and flew Elvis for 2 years, as long as he had that airplane. And then I went back with the airlines, and I finally retired in 2003. And I quit counting logs time around 20,000 hours, so I got between 25 and 30,000 hours. I've been all over the world, been to every country, major country except China, Russia, and Egypt. I flew over Egypt, but I never did land. And I'm estimating 10,000 takeoffs, and fortunately, the equal amount of landings. every state in the United States, including Hawaii, Alaska, and every continent except Antarctic, and been to all the territories except one. And that was it, my flying career. So now I'll tell you about Elvis. How did I get the job? Well, that was really, really funny. I was getting the 880 ready to go to Vegas. I was working Miami International. And the broker came by and he says, what the hell are you working on the airplane for? It's a holiday. I said, well, tomorrow it's got to be fixed because tomorrow we're leaving for Vegas. So I gave him a tour of that airplane and we liked each other. His name was Nigel Winfield, which I guess later on went to prison over this Elvis deal, I don't know. But anyway, so we became friends, real good friends, and I'd done a few favors for him that I probably shouldn't have. But what the hell, I needed the money, so I did. And anyway, so later on, he says, you know, I'm going to sell Elvis an airplane. Yeah, you know everybody's going to sell Elvis an airplane. So he says, can you get a crew ready? I said, oh yeah, no problem. So I called this two friends of mine. I said, hey, would you like to fly Elvis airplane? Oh yeah. Well then a long time lapsed, maybe 4 or 5 months. And like I said, I'd done some favors to him. And we became good friends. But anyway, then he called me up and he said, hey, we're going to Memphis tomorrow to interview with Elvis. I said, geez. He said, yeah, give me the names of the crew. And I said, well, hell, it's been 3 or 4 months. I might not be able to get them now. So I called them up and they said, oh yeah. So I called Nigel back and here we came to Memphis. Now we thought we were going to interview with Elvis. Well, what a shocker that was going to be. Well, it wasn't. It was Vernon Presley, his father. And by the way, I got the contract over there and it's all signed by Vernon. So you can read it after the talk and questions and answers. But anyway, so we went to the mansion, went up there, went back to Vernon's office, and it was split up. Well, excuse the word, but it was a mess. I mean, books, stuff all over the place. I don't know, I guess today it's all cleaned up, but it wasn't back then. And then they had a little petition where you sat out there and you could watch, but they had the windows where you couldn't hear nothing they were saying. So Alan David, the other pilot, he went in first. He didn't last but a couple minutes. I said, Jesus. So he came out and said, Alan, what'd they ask you? I don't know. Anyway, I asked Nigel Winfield, before we went in for the interview, what was it going to be like? And he said, I don't know, but just know how much money you want. All right, so that was fine. And it's in there, exactly what it was. But anyway, then it was my turn. I went in and talked to, you know, Nancy, I guess his secretary, and Vernon for a few minutes. And then he says, I got a couple of questions. And I said, yeah. And I thought it was going to be technical. And he says, you know, if we hire you, we do the entertainment, you do the flying. Yes, sir. So how much money you want to make? And I told him, and it's all right there. And so anyway, then we left. And I get a call from Nigel Winfield in Miami. And he says, get down to my office. He said, I want something to show you. And I says, okay, we'll do it. No, I'm sorry. I says, hey, I'm busy. I can't go. He says, come on down. I want to show you something. I said, I'm busy. I told you. And he says, it's got something to do with Presley's. And I said, whoops, I'll be right down. So I walked in the table, and here he throws this contract. And of course, it's to the first party, to the second party, and all that stuff. And then I thought, well, the hell with it. I just want to see how much money I'm going to make. And it's right there exactly what I asked for. So I should have asked for probably a little bit more. But that's the way it goes. It was still pretty good money, even back then. So then we went back to Miami, and then Vernon called us up. We hadn't even talked to Elvis yet. Of course, Vernon every night talked to Elvis. And they agreed on everything. And I put in my resume that I got a hijack. and which I did. And later on, Elvis asked me about it, so I told him the story. But anyway, it was pretty interesting because then the airplane, I ferried it from Wichita, Kansas, which is the home of Boeing. It was an ex-Delta airplane, and originally it would carry 120-some people. Ran it down to Fort Worth, and then we went back to Miami, and it was months later, I don't know. And finally, Nigel called us up, and he says, Vernon called us up, and he said, come on up, we want to talk to you, get you some uniforms. Well, we thought, okay. Now, we're all ex-airline people, or furloughed or whatever. And so we get to Memphis here, and Vernon says, well, go down to this someplace here in Memphis. And there were chauffeur uniforms. I think it's chauffeurs, but you know, it was double-breasted brass buttons in the hat and everything. So we called up Vernon and said, we don't really want to, what do you want to wear? And we said, how about a sports coat? He said, fine, that's okay with me. So that's what good. So then we came back to the office, and it was getting a little bit late, probably around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And we were going to go down to Fort Worth, pick up the airplane, and take it to Long Beach and have some more work done on it. Well, so we told him, we said, well, we need a little bit of operating cash, because in Long Beach, we didn't know how long we were going to be out there for sure. And so off we go and ask for some money, and he says, how about $2,500? Yeah, so he calls the bank. He didn't even tell him his name. I guess they recognized his voice. And he says, hey, you got $2,500, I want to send some pilots down and pick it up. And of course the banker told him no, because the safe was on a time machine, and it won't open until 9 o'clock the next morning. Oh, so he calls Sears and Roebuck. He didn't tell him his name or nothing. He says, hey, you got $2,500? And Gail told her, yeah. So he says, well, go down to Sears and Roebuck. Well, hell, we didn't even know where Sears and Roebuck was. I don't know if it still exists. So the three of us went down to Sears and Roebuck and went back to customer service. And here she throws out $2,500 bills. And we thought, well, that's strange. So we started counting it. She says, well, what are you doing? I said, well, we're counting it. And because we're all airline people, and we know that people are going to short you 100 or 2, and you're going to get out of your own pocket. So we counted it, started counting. She stopped us, says it's all there. Don't worry about it. And so we just keep counting, you know. And it was all there. So we said, well, where do we sign for it? She said, sign for it? You don't sign for that kind of money. Get out of here. So off we went. We went to commercial down to Dallas, Fort Worth. And then we took the airplane to Long Beach, California, and had some modifications done to it there. And then we flew it to Smyrna, which is just south of Nashville. And we had it certified, and then we were going to take it after 3 or 4 days of certification. Then we're going to fly it here into Memphis, and we thought, wow, boy, we'll meet Elvis. This is going to be quite a trip. Well, we landed, nobody there. So parked the airplane, and we waited. We got here about 2 o'clock in the afternoon or sometime, and 5 o'clock, no Elvis. So we went home, or went to an apartment or whatever. So then the next day, the three of us went out to the airplane. Same thing happened. Waited all day, no Elvis. So we go home. The next day, we didn't even go out there. So the heck with it. And then Joe Esposito called us up and said, get out the airplane. Elvis wants to meet the crew and see the airplane. Now, he had not seen it completely done. And of course, he's never met the crew. So here we are, the three of us are in the cockpit when we're looking, here comes Elvis. I'm, Jesus, you know, this is quite a shock. And so they had the door locked, or not locked, but shut, the cockpit door. And then Elvis toured the airplane. And then they took us out one at a time to meet him. Now, I was the second guy out there to meet him. And here he is, he's sitting on the back of one of the chairs. And he's got this smile, and he's got a little nipple, a little grin that he always had. And he says, well, I guess you know who I am. I said, yes, sir, Mr. Presley. And he said, no, none of this, yes, sir. Yes, sir, none of this, Mr. Presley. He says, Elvis, may I call you Ron? And that's the way it was from then on in. Except one other time, I'll tell you later. But anyway, we just had one hell of a good conversation. I mean, it's unbelievable meeting Elvis Presley. Here's an old country boy from Iowa, population maybe 1,000 people on a good day, is meeting Elvis Presley, you know. But anyway, it was good. We talked, and then the engineer went out, done the same talk to him, and then Elvis came in the cockpit, and he says, look, I want to tell you guys right now, I'm a little uneasy about flying. And he was. And he says, don't let security, anybody talk you in. He says, if you're unhappy with the weather or something, he says, mechanical or something, he said, I can get another airplane. Don't let anybody talk you into anything. Yes, sir, no problem. So our first trip was out of Memphis here to Las Vegas. And made that trip, no problem. A couple days later, he wanted to take the airplane down to, I think, Long Beach and show Priscilla. And he did. Now, Priscilla and them, they got divorced in, what, 68 or something like that?
73.
73. Okay, 73, he knows, I don't. And, but he still wanted to show the airplane, so I met Priscilla at the time, and then Elvis gave her a tour of the airplane, and then we went back to Hilton at Vegas. And the deal was, we would work on, we took him to Hilton all the time, and he would do 2 shows a night, 6 nights a week, and then after 2 weeks, he would take off on vacation and go someplace, and of course Memphis here, in the wintertime, the weather sucks, overcasted, so we would go to Palm Springs a lot. Well, he was on vacation, we weren't. That's just the way it was, and that was the price you paid. But what a hoot. I mean, just meeting him and talking to him. And I'll tell you, the things that he gave away was just unbelievable. Really? I'll tell you about the trip from Memphis here to Denver, then to Louisiana. But we were originally going from Memphis here to Denver to get the peanut butter jelly sandwiches. And they were about that big. They were $28 a piece. They were called Fool's Gold. And I couldn't eat just a couple bites. That was it for me. I was just too rich. But anyway, it was Lisa Marie's birthday. And so we had, or somebody had a birthday cake there, and they sang happy birthday to Lisa, and I bet you can't guess who the lead singer was. Wasn't me, that's for sure. But anyway, so we were watching the weather at Long Beach area, LAX or Los Angeles. And so we invited Elvis in the cockpit, and we said, Elvis, the weather is 0-0, we're not going to get in. Are you sure? Yeah, I said, nobody's getting in, and it'll be probably, maybe 10 o'clock in the morning before we can get in, but it's a mess. We're not going to get in, we'll hold as long as the app goes, and then we'll divert to an alternate, and diverting with an alternate with this airplane with you aboard is a real pain in the butt. And he says, I get the picture you guys don't want to fly. And I said, yeah, we'll fly, but this is what's going to happen. We're not going to get in. He says, stand by. So Dick Grove, the head of security, took Lisa Marie and went to the hotel, and then they were going to airline in the next day when the weather was better. So we figured, well, we just go back to Memphis. Good. So Elvis came cockpit after going in the back for 5 or 10 minutes. He says, go to Baton Rouge or Shreveport, I'm not sure. And we thought, well, what the hell, why not? And so the weather was good, we took off. Now we're landing around a daybreak in Vegas, or Baton Rouge, someplace in Louisiana. And Elvis is in the cockpit, and he's in his pajamas, pajama type. And so Elvis wanted to see the landing. Oh, we didn't care. So he's sitting in the jump seat, and then when we land, I called the tower and I said, hey, what FBO will give us some fuel? He said, we're trying that Texaco over there. Okay. So Elvis is in there. In the meantime, he got out of the jump seat and just stood back in the corner. He wanted to, I guess, watch everything, what was going on. So we taxi over there, and this young manager comes on, and he just walked in the cockpit. He missed Elvis right behind him. And he says, well, who the hell are, he says, how much, what do you want? I says, well, we'll need some fuel. And he says, well, how much do you want? I said, about 5,000 gallons. And he says, well, who the hell's going to pay for that? I said, that guy right there. Elvis Presley, Jesus. Oh. He said, my wife is in love with you. Will you meet her if she comes? And he said, well, sure, no problem at all. So then we told the manager, he says, when you talk to your wife, you tell her, don't drag your feet, because we can only, hold up Elvis so long. So it was just, what do you do now? You get this call at 6 a.m. or whatever it was, and you're going to meet Elvis Presley. Do you put your makeup on or not? Well, evidently she decided to put her makeup on. So anyway, security came up and they said, hey, look, is there something wrong with your airplane? We said, no, it just, things take a little bit of a while while you're doing this. And so pretty soon we just took a taxi out. Here's this gal coming, and this good-looking lady, and just stop. We can't stop now. But he just gave away things all the time. For example, some of you attended Ginger's meeting last night. Some of you did, I guess. No? Oh, you did.
Yeah, I'm in it.
Yeah. And anyway, she mentioned the Honolulu trip. Well, that's true. We flew her out there. We found out here in Memphis that we were going to go take Elvis to Honolulu. And so we said, ooh. I called Joe Esposito and I said, Joe, I'd like to take my wife along. And he says, well, here's the problem. Now, Elvis's airplane was converted from carrying roughly 120 passengers to 29. He said, we got seats available in Memphis, but we don't have seats available out of Honolulu, or Oakland to Honolulu. And we said, are you sure? Oh yeah, he said, we got standby people. And I said, well, that's the way it goes. And so we take off from Memphis to Oakland, got fuel, 4 open seats. And I'm madder than hell, but I ain't gonna let that interfere with my job. So we get going to Honolulu, get about halfway there, and Elvis comes in the cockpit. Hey, how's it going, gang? Good. I said, the weather's good. We'll be there in a couple hours. And he saes, hey, Ron, I understand I won't use his words, but I understand you're a little bit upset. And I said, no problem. No, he says, it is a problem. He says, your wife should be on this airplane. And I says, no, maybe next time. No. He says, I want her out here tomorrow. First class airline ticket from Memphis to here, to Honolulu. I said, Elvis, I ain't going to do that. Whew. He says, and nobody says no to Elvis. But I did. I said, I'm just not going to do it. He said, well, let me ask you something. He says, do you like working for me? Yeah. Yes, sir. He says, I told you, none of this yes, sir. Elvis and Ron, that's it. And I says, okay. He says, do I pay you enough? I says, absolutely. No problem. He says, she better be out here tomorrow or I'm going to replace you. I don't think Elvis would replace me, but I wasn't going to take the chance. So I called my wife, Betty, and I says, hey, pack up. You're coming here. Oh, I'm working, and I got the kids, babysitter. And I says, you better get a babysitter and you better tell your boss that you're leaving. And she did. First class airline ticket the next day from Memphis to, I guess, LA, and then on into Honolulu. Enjoyed it. We spent 3 or 4 days there with her, and then she had to get back to Memphis. First class airline ticket all the way back. And so I thought, well, that was pretty damn nice. So we returned maybe 5 or 6 days later, whatever it was, because we didn't know when we were going to return. And coming halfway to Oakland, Elvis comes in the cockpit. He says, hey, Ron, yeah. He says, did Betty enjoy her stay? And I says, yes, a bunch, and thank you. She really thanks you too. And so we land, get at Oakland, get fuel, and then we head to Memphis. And we get to Memphis, and the next day I had a stack of bills, you know, about like that. And I never did deal with Elvis on finances. It was always Mr. Presley Vernon. So I went into the mansion behind into his office, and I got stacked and authorized all the stuff, you know. And then I had this airline ticket. I wish I had kept the darn thing. And I don't know how much it cost, but it was quite a bit back then. So then I gave it to Vernon, and I sort of sheepish gave it to him, you know. And he says, just give him a check. And I said, but Mr. Presley, don't you want to look at it? No, he says, I talked to Elvis last night about it. Not a problem. He said, pay him. Gave me a check. Whatever it was back then, and off I went. I mean, the money he gave away.
Join me and the spa guy today for the ribbon cutting ceremony of the newest attraction in Memphis, Tennessee, the TigerMan Karate Dojo and Museum. It starts at 10 a.m. and Memphis Mafia member Billy Smith, the closest guy to his cousin Elvis. Let me repeat that. The closest guy to Elvis Presley, Billy Smith, will be cutting the ribbon to open the TigerMan to you fans for you to enjoy here in Memphis. 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. and you can have a meet and greet with Billy and Joe Smith. Do not miss this. Then tonight at 6 p.m. until 8 p.m., meet Dave Hebler, bodyguard, Memphis Mafia member, and karate black belt. And Elvis's friend returns to the dojo for the first time since being in the building with Elvis in the 70s. You don't want to miss these great stories that Dave will share in the actual dojo that he trained with Master Kung Ree and Elvis. 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. tonight, 3217 Lucibill Rd. Get your tickets in the link below. If you missed this, well, probably not an Elvis fan. I'll see you tonight at the TigerMan Karate Dojo and Museum.
So you're not in the cockpit?
No,
Come on, Dad.
Dad. How come I'm not in the cockpit?
Which was the last in the procession and the funeral, and he still has this car.
I'm glad you still have the car.
And
I
we
do.
found him a
That's
photo of him
Yeah, I've got
in the procession.
Yeah.
Because he had never seen a photo of himself in the procession at the end.
You know,
So
a gal
we put it on a video
in
and a fan
Canada.
came forward with it in Canada.
Yeah.
How are you?
Hi, good. How are you doing?
Doing good.
What did you think tonight, Jen?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. Ron's got some great stories.
He does.
Great
So
guy.
who is this, Ron?
It's just a lot of
That's
fun.
Elwood David.
That's Elwood.
And he's so
Okay,
funny.
So a lot of people hadn't seen Elwood
funny.
David. I
Yeah.
figured that's
And
who
you
it
actually
was.
have Elvis stories too, but we're not going to tell them yet.
Not yet, but I will.
Yeah, so you got to
Yes,
keep
uh,
watching, guys, on Globetrotting with Trey,
Presley
because you're going to meet this lady here pretty
Has a
soon.
video.
Sounds good. See you soon.
Who could she be? I have no idea. She's someone, though.
Mystery. It's a mystery lady.
All right, stay
Okay.
tuned.
It was a very neat time.
And how many years was it? 3 years?
So I flew for him all the time he had that airplane. It was August of 75, August 76, and August of 77.
What a fun
Oh, yeah.
your life.
It was a blast, and I made good money.
Well, that makes it even better, doesn't it?
Right. All better.
Good time plus good money.
What more do you want?
Can't beat that.
And why are you an Elvis fan?
Well, I'm from Bowman, South Carolina. I was raised in Bowman, South Carolina. Actually, Orangeburg, South Carolina. So I joined in the military in 1998. I've been in for over 20 years. I retired in 2018, so I've been an Elvis fan ever since, over 15 plus years and stuff. Elvis was a phenomenal artist. He was a phenomenal singer. I just can't emphasize how important he is to all of us. This is my first time to the Elvis Week 2021, and ever since I got here, I'm coming from New Braunfels, Texas. It's been fantastic. That's all I can say. The people here are very friendly. The people are very nice. You get to meet a lot of friends. You get to associate some Elvis history through them. I got to visit the Sirius XM radio with Argo. We took pictures. I explained them when I was stationed in Germany. Elvis was stationed in Bad Nayam. I went to the house where he was living at. The people there are very friendly. I actually went to the statue where Elvis, he was posing along the bridge, so that was pretty cool too as well. So, I mean, everything was so phenomenal as far as I can tell you.
That's awesome, man. And you also a Michael Jordan fan, so me and you are going to be friends. You look like Elvis and MJ. I'm the biggest MJ fan in the world, too. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you see I have the kicks. I have the shirt, too, as well. Yeah.
You have to wear the Jordans.
Yes.
So Elvis and MJ, that's great.
Yeah.
All right, because Elvis just was a cool man. Wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
It's a fascinating story, and once you become a fan, you just become a bigger fan.
Yes, indeed. Yep.
All right, hey, I appreciate you meeting you, man, and you giving me this interview.
Okay, no worries. Take care. God bless. Learn over the years. He was so kind.
I saw Gladys there one day. Elvis said a curse word and he was in the next room. Gladys didn't say anything. She walked out of the kitchen, goes around, grabs him by the ear and twists it and walks right to the front. You go in there and apologize. She jumped all over him.
She made him apologize?
Oh yeah. She ruled the roost actually. He loved his mom.
So how did you meet Elvis, Jimmy?
I met him through my English teacher, Jackson.
May Axton. Mm-hmm. You know who May Axton is?
She wrote Heartbreak Hotel.
She wrote Heartbreak Hotel.
She wrote a lot of hits actually for other people. But,
Oh, wow.
and her husband John, yeah, her
Oh, yeah.
husband or brother now.
I'm okay. Where am I?
No, was her husband John was my coach. I had to stop and think a minute there.
What did he coach? Football?
It was a general coach at a high school. Yeah.
Okay. What high school did you go to?
Paxton,
Paxton High School, and that was in
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, Florida. So you met Elvis at the Jacksonville concert.
At the concert that she was putting on, she did show promotions, all bringing in country music shows, and this particular one was at the Gator Bowl with Hank Snow and the Carter family and a long line. I wanted to meet June Carter, so I talked her into letting me backstage. I was back there talking to this guitar player for a long time. And he said, "Oh, by the way, my name's Elvis Presley." And I thought, what in the world is an Elvis Presley? Because I'd never heard the name before. But anyway, I got to meet June, and Elvis and I became close friends.
It's a beach trail, isn't it?
So it was that unique bond and stuff, by him initially telling you his name and stuff, which bond y'all more and stuff.
Because he was just playing on the guitar backstage and waiting for a good long while, I thought. But if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have met him, and I wouldn't have met him anyway if he hadn't been there, because I was there to see June.
Did you get to meet June?
Oh yeah.
Did you meet Anita?
Yes.
Because Anita's the one that
Carter,
Elvis
yep.
was after.
Yeah.
Elvis liked Anita Carter.
The Carters, that whole family was actually from up in Bristol, Virginia, Bristol, Tennessee, right on the line where the road divides the states of Bristol. I like that area. It's really beautiful.
Tennessee? Yeah, it's an interesting part of the country.
Yep.
That's right. But May Axton was your English teacher.
Mm-hmm. She was a substitute English teacher, but she was teaching me during that time.
So she came up with Heartbreak Hotel because of...
Well, the original that she wrote out, I got to see. I actually have a copy of it, but it says Heartbreak Motel.
Motel, okay. And it was changed.
But it was
to
definitely a hotel. The guy that died, that committed suicide, he left the note that said, "I walk a lonely street." And she saw that in the newspaper, and she wrote the song in 20 minutes. But then she had help to get the music.
I'll also
Yeah, she had to get it to Elvis.
She
Oh,
had to
yeah.
get that.
Well, she was a good friend. Colonel Parker was putting on those shows there. She was a good friend of his also. And so that's how she got there, so you knew.
Promoting.
That is a great story.
Wow.
She needed to do what he wanted done. But Hank Snow was a star, but yet he didn't get to close the show. He had to open because Elvis, and I asked that question, said, well, once Elvis is going on stage, there is no show, so they had to put him last. Even though he wasn't the star, nobody knew who he was. He
So
would
what
bring
was-
a house down.
Yeah, tell me, describe the show for me. Like, what was a crowd like back then in
I
Jacksonville?
never saw anything like it. People were screaming and hollering, and so many police trying to hold them back. And good God, I want to be like that. You know?
How did the girls act, man?
Oh, they were, well, it was mostly girls, but guys actually also just really liked it. But the girls were going crazy. They were, never mind, I won't say it. It's just a lot of things. They had fun. Kids were kids.
It's a good time,
And
man.
Elvis was Elvis from the beginning to end. He still is.
Still is.
44 years later.
And we're here today, still honoring the guy.
Yep,
Can you believe that, man?
it's amazing.
See, Jimmy here, man, he opened the first museum across the recently. And I mean, this guy, I think the Rolling Stones called him the godfather of
Oh, yeah, rock and roll.
rock and roll. They called him the godfather of rock and roll memorabilia.
I thought James Brown was.
Yes.
He's in my book too.
Yeah, this guy, he had a, that's what I was asking him yesterday. I saw a picture or a video or something of your building, and it had like a casino type sign outside that was lit up and everything.
Right.
It was pretty cool, man. I don't know how you made that happen, but that was pretty neat.
I tried everything. Well, Vernon allowed me to, so that was always good.
Yeah,
And whenever I'd come to Memphis, I'd stay at Vernon's house, you know, most of the time.
On Dolan?
Yeah, this is.
And then I bought the house that Elvis gave to Linda.
Okay.
So I bought that from Linda and Bruce Jenner.
So you lived there
I lived there for several years.
several years. Then you expanded on out to, you opened a museum in Nashville and
Well, after Memphis, I opened Honolulu, then Orlando, then Nashville.
Nashville. And you had
And
all
that the
kinds of
road
stuff.
tours that toured everywhere.
Now this is not Elvis, but let me ask you this, because I feel like I remembered watching something that a long time ago about it, but did you have the Batman and Robin costume?
I did.
Tell me about that,
I had the original Batmobile also.
How did you get that, Jimmy?
I bought it at auction.
This dude had the Batmobile from the 60s with Adam West and Burt Ward.
Yeah.
And the costume.
And the costume.
What was the costume like?
And I had, it was just like you see it. To me, it was just something for the exhibit.
I bet people were fascinated by that.
I had the genie in the bottle, and I had the Wonder Woman costume, and I had got just about every one of those. The Green Hornet had
You
that
had
car.
Kato, Bruce Lee's.
And my son has the museum in Branson, in Missouri, and it's his museum, and he has 100 show cars that were all movie used or owned by the stars. And he's got Batmobiles. He's got what's that fuzzy van? Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah,
the
he's
Dumb
got
and
that
Dumber
car.
mobile. Yeah.
And he's got a lot of nice ones there.
And that's in Branson, Missouri? What is that called?
I think he just calls it. I don't. It's in the Legends.
Legends Museum.
Yeah. He changed it to Super Legends and Superstars. Maybe I might be quoting it wrong because he just moved into that building.
Yeah, I've seen John Heath's collection.
Let's say about 5 years ago.
Wow, Jimmy.
I have to stop and think sometime.
Well, hey, I wish I could have seen that the Batmobile and the Batman and Robin costume.
Oh, you should have seen me when I was selling it at auction. I had never driven the car, right?
Right.
Okay, so I'm driving it up to the stage to go up to the auction. I could not get the darn thing in gear. I was trying everything, and the car wouldn't move, and there were cameras everywhere on me, and I'm not getting it to move. I had to get on my cell and call Scott, my son. I said, how in the heck do you get this car into drive? He says, well, you have to push down this other button. So then it was perfect. Drove up, and Ford did a beautiful poster of the car with the police car, Ford police car.
Okay.
And it showed the Batmobile in the background with it, and I've got 3 of those posters left.
You do have those posters?
Yeah, I've still got 3 of the original. It says from the Jimmy Velvet collection at the bottom.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Okay, so I got to ask you this. How much did you sell the Batmobile for?
I screwed up. Oh, I sold it and let it go, and it brought 100 and some grand, but now it's gone since then for way up. I've had some Elvis cars that are going way up.
Yeah, like you told me yesterday, a jumpsuit that you sold in '94 is like
380,000. They were still bidding. It's still bidding now.
And he was telling me that Vernon actually was selling Elvis's jumpsuits. And then Jimmy got a hold of him and was like, don't do big business.
Yeah, he was going to sell them. I said, sell something else, anything. I said, because Elvis will always be known, and he'll be known for those jumpsuits first. And then a few pieces of the jewelry, you know, and then the cars. And if you go that route, you can't go wrong. But he was willing to sell me all of those for 25 grand, 62 jumpsuits. They were all at 1 hour Martinizing right here in Whitehaven. And here, so Vernon called me one day and wanted me to come up to the house. I went up and he took me down to see, Richard was the guy's name that was the manager, actually owner of the 1 hour Martinizing. And here's all Elvis's costumes, all hanging out. And Vernon said, do you think you could get like $300, $400 a piece for these for me? I said, Vernon, you don't want to do that. I wish I had, because I wound up with 11 of the jumpsuits.
See, I wish you would have been able to have them, so, you know, they wouldn't get all out there like that.
But at that point, I had that opportunity, except he did give a few away, but there were 62 of them hanging there. And then capes and belts and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy right here, like I said, Rolling Stones called him the godfather of collecting.
It's actually Rolling Stone magazine.
Yeah, Rolling Stones,
They did
Rolling Stone magazine. Not the Rolling Stones, the Rolling Stone magazine.
Not them Rolling Stones that gather no moss.
That's cool, man.
Good stuff.
That's cool.
All right, guys, so I am back here at the Travel Lodge. This is a big Elvis collection that you can come over and look through. I'm sure you're going to find something here.
You keep digging,
Albums,
you find things and you learn things and
books,
you know to look here, look
just
there.
little things, some big things back there on the wall from back 1956. I see
Stuff that blows my mind.
I see that hat that was sold in the 50s that fans wore there at concerts. Check that.
Man, I'm just glad
Great condition there. Those scarves. Check that out. Handkerchiefs, not a scarf.
it's just, I love to tell stories, and there's something compelling about this story.
You got the nice voice for it, too.
Yeah.
So yeah, come over to the Travel Lodge if you're in Memphis, Tennessee during Elvis week, and come over and visit this guy right here. Come check out his collection. I mean, I'm telling you, he has one of everything or two of everything.
I have not met him in person, but I know.
Check this out. Get you a 1956 Elvis Presley autograph book.
If you're in the mood, you can get a second.
And if he said if you're in the mood, you can get a second. And then right here, you know, that's Colonel Parker dressed as Santa Claus. That was a season greetings from Elvis and the Colonel in 1972. How long will you guys be here? So they will be in town until Sunday. So every day from what? 11 to 6 p.m. Come check them out here off of East Brooks Road at the Travel Lodge. Is it 1471? Might be 1471, guys. If that is wrong, I'll let you know in this video. But yeah, come see them until Sunday here at the Travel Lodge. Also, guys, we have another great collection here that you can come here to the Travel Lodge and check out. This guy probably has 3 of everything. Look at the old albums here. This is what it used to be like. Grand Rapids Press The king of rock is dead. At least Elvis got the big picture, a really good picture of him on that front page. Check.
He's going through stuff the other day, and here's from Munster, Indiana. Ed Bunch had stayed in his house, and I'm like, Munster must be a pretty boring place if they've got to put that Ed Bunch is visiting somebody there.
Had to be, right?
Yeah. So he had about 4 or 5 or maybe 6 of them. Like, oh, okay, it's a big deal for your family, wasn't it?
Wow. But check all the. I guess that was from the Hilton. That's an original from.
But you know what? Fred's got one that says Summer Festival 1975.
Oh, he does have one?
It's on the wall, that wall in there.
I think I saw that one.
Because we have the same thing, but it says Summerfest 1975.
And is this the Elvis on tour? This would be a poster from back then?
Oh,
You have to take it apart.
Yeah.
Bring a hammer.
my husband's a big Elvis collector.
What about this? What is this thing right here?
That was
This
very well.
is something that was in a record thing,
Uh-huh.
like when they had a record display.
Yeah.
And then somebody put like a, put this on so it could stand.
Yes, yeah. How much is he selling that for?
Get me a box.
Ask Helmut. I don't know. So whatever somebody offers him. But it was probably like in a record display.
Yeah.
And then somebody wanted to make sure it would stand up maybe in their display.
I like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It's different.
It is different. Yeah. There's some really great stuff that you guys have. Check that out. You can get you a I Love Elvis pennant over here. So yeah, so how long will y'all be here until? Sunday? What's the hours? So come and visit them here at the Travel Lodge from 11 to 6 here until Sunday. Come hang out, right?
Yep. Come hang out with us.
And then right here, of course, is where Jimmy Velvet is. He's over here talking right now. To come and visit Jimmy. And then there's another great collection back here in the back as well. And then right through this door is Keith Alverson and his great pictures that he captured in the 70s of Elvis. So I'm sure you'll find something if you come in here and spend an hour or so and just look through things, and everyone has a great story. So be sure to come check them out while they're here until Sunday. Here at the Travel Lodge.
If Elvis played an 8-track on it, it would sound just like that. This is an 8-track.
I'm gonna be honest with you. You can take all that hi-fi out of it. I'd rather listen to this.
Yeah, it sounds great.
I want to hear the scratching of the vinyl.
I want to hear what Elvis heard.
That's an
I
8-track.
want to hear that. Yeah, that's 8-track.
Yeah.
This is the picture, you know. So, and I told Billy, I said, well, I'm sure you're already thinking about it, but man, we got to get that pose there for people to,
Yeah.
you know. But I walked in here that night, and he never told me anything, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, why am I here?
Because remember, I set it up for you. I didn't.
Why am I here? And then I seen the little standees of Elvis doing karate, and I seen the beams. And I looked at him, and I said, are you telling me this is Kangaroo Studio? He said, that's exactly what I'm telling you. And I'm like, damn. And, you know, it was original carpet, original chairs. And if you look on this back panel wall back here, the AC units, very well documented, the stage area. I mean, it was just, and Billy had explained to me that this had been a parks or automobile type parks department. But they left the original carpet in, and a lot of the original stuff is here. And I can tell you from the time that I was here, probably back in February or April, what they've done is tremendous. So if you guys get an opportunity, when you're in Memphis, to come by the TigerMan Dojo, I encourage you to stop in here and see a great display of Elvis artifacts.
Now look at this, Norm. We just got this today.
What is it?
Jimmy Velvet.
I called several people that I knew that were collectors.
What?
Are we on? Okay.
Yeah, we're going to interview, I think, so.
Hi, everybody. Peter Alden with TCB Radio. I'm here with Billy Spa Guy. Everybody knows Billy. And
Hello.
He's got his brand. It's brand.
Friends? That's right.
Friends. We're here with Billy Spa Guy. And
And there goes the other Billy.
and there goes the other Billy right there. And he's opening his brand new TigerMan Karate Dojo and Museum. It's going to be right here in Memphis. This is where Elvis trained with Kong Ree. And this has been a project you've been working on for how long now?
Almost a year. Yeah, it's been a little while. And where Elvis is standing right here is literally where this photograph was taken at, this exact spot. That's a fact.
And Billy did literally most all of the work to get this
Yeah,
thing ready.
we had a lot of people involved, but we hand built a lot of this, yeah.
And as we're speaking right now, it's August 13th, and tomorrow.
Today is August the 13th.
Today is August 13th.
Yes.
Tomorrow, August 14th, is your official grand opening.
All right, we have a grand opening tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Billy and Joe Smith will do the ribbon cutting, and then we'll have a meet and greet with Billy and Joe Smith, and people will also come through the museum. So when you buy that ticket, you not only get to meet and greet with Billy and Joe Smith, but you get to go in the museum as well. And we do tour guides here, so you'll have someone coming through telling you stories.
And right now, you're still in the middle of a soft opening, so the museum is opening. You can come out. And,
Yeah, you can come today. Also, tonight we have Ron Strauss, the co-pilot of the Lisa Marie. He will be speaking. We also have live streams, so if you're not in Memphis, you can still watch that event. Tomorrow night we have Dave Hebler, which did karate in here with Elvis. He was a bodyguard. He's a 10th degree Grand Master in Kempo, trained under Ed Parker, and he will be here telling stories. So we got a lot of cool stuff happening.
Yeah, that's awesome. So friends, come on out to the TigerMan Karate Dojo and Museum. And you actually they teach karate here.
We have karate lessons here tomorrow. That's a good point. Tomorrow we have Congree, which was this was his dojo. His son, Yongri, will be here teaching karate lessons. He is a 6th degree black belt or a 6th Dan black belt under Passeru, which was what Elvis learned in this facility.
Yeah, so whenever you come to Memphis, either before Graceland or when you're done with Graceland, come down here to the TigerMan Karate Dojo and Museum. Billy will probably be here. He's always here.
Here a lot.
How much is admission tomorrow?
It's I don't know. I think it's 25, but that includes the meet and greet and all that. I'm sure it's 25. But hop on there and do that, and tighten up and come down here, friends.
Yeah, but friends, there's a lot of stuff here to see that I've never seen. Most people have never seen before. He's got a lot of incredibly exclusive stuff that you're not going to see anywhere else.
That's right.
So you need to come out here and see this. It's a great museum. So much to see, and we appreciate you opening it up for us.
It's great to see
Thank you
y'all
so
this
much.
morning. Y'all come.
Absolutely.
Tighten up and come.
That's right.
What the person was there filming.
What the person?
Yeah, why did they have the camera rolling?
Oh, you mean when it left Graceland?
Yes.
When this was shot.
Yes. The video of the ambulance leaving. Y'all seen that video?
Yeah, but I don't know why they were filming.
Okay. If you go back and watch the video, they were filming a custom van that was
Oh,
there.
that's right.
They
It
were
was
waiting
a
for
couple
Elvis to
of
wake up that day,
Yeah.
and they were going to show him the van. This is the magazine the van was featured in. It was a tribute to Elvis,
I remember reading
June
that.
1977.
Why were they going to show him that van?
Because it was a tribute to Elvis. They took the van around, it was on a tour around the country. It was being shown at all these car shows.
Okay.
And they were there to show Elvis the van. That's the spread in the magazine right there.
He would have got a kick out of that.
I think so.
Do we know what happened to that van?
Yeah, it burned 1980. I tried to get it because I was like, hey, I got to have that. That's part of the deal.
Just like the hearse.
Yeah. So what ended up happening is they're there, the guy that's on tour with the van happens to have a video camera. And it happens to be rolling when this ambulance rolls up. And so he captures it coming out. So that's one perspective. There was a guy that worked for Kmart Corporate that was going between Memphis Kmart and he was going to South Haven. He happened to be here with a Polaroid camera. He shot that photo as it's coming out of the gate.
So people didn't know who was in it.
They had no idea, but he just shot it because, he just had his camera on a click. He sold that photo for $100,000 in 1977.
Wow.
And then there's another perspective, and that's this photo right here. So I showed you all that to show you this. You see the van. You know that there was a guy filming. Then there was somebody that took that picture. Then there was a person that took all these pictures. Look, there's the van.
Putting this together, this sequence, is amazing.
Helps tell that story
It absolutely does.
of the ambulance,
Yeah.
I mean, for it to be captured, though.
Yeah.
What's the chances of
What's
that?
the chances of that happening? Yeah, it's
A lot of this Elvis story is like that. A lot of things had to happen.
yeah, so many
Just
things
by chance.
so many things that you're like, that should have never happened, but yet it did.
So what's going through your minds right now?
I don't know. It's just kind of surreal to see this.
I've got chills.
It's somber.
It is.
Yeah. You know, it's a sad thing, but it's still history. You know.
Oh, yeah.
It shows Elvis really did believe this on August the 16th, 1977. You know, and you know all the years that Elvis is still alive. No, he's not.
Right. Well, I appreciate the history of, okay, yeah, you don't think about why they're filming the ambulance coming down, because as Billy said, they didn't have video cameras back then, but so there should really have never been anybody here filming this, and they did, and it's just, like you said, it's history.
But it's one thing to stand where he stood or hold a microphone or be where he was, but to be in a room and watch, that's just kind of surreal. That he's like right here doing all that.
Right there where that blue star is.
Well, and
doing
Billy
that.
had the vision because this was nothing like this when he adopted it and took it. You know, it was like a little baby. He just and he made it.
You need to go back and look.
That's
it didn't
what blows
look
my
anything
mind.
like this.
Oh, he's a visionary.
Yeah, I could just see this in my head. You know,
He knew this was what it was going to
it came together magically. I'll say that.
You're in the dojo, man.
I'm in the dojo.
That thing is sharp.
That illusion, that wall is really fantastic. It took me a minute to get it, but it's like that wall's not there and you're seeing the whole length of the room.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And this post is in real life where it was at in the photograph.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm working.
Well, when he finally said come all the way around here, then you can. But it took me a minute to get that that's supposed to be like.
So I'm trying to work on the illusion of the length of the post. You see, I put a piece in there. I still don't have it quite right, so I'm experimenting with different lengths. At some point, when it hits me that I've got the right length, I'll. Okay, so I'm gonna show you why. You see a sock laying there?
Oh, yeah, is that what, I didn't realize what that was.
Okay, so look right here. Here's the whiteboard. That's George's wife. That is Jill, which was Richard Davis's wife, and that was Angie, that eventually was David Stanley's wife. And the kid, we don't know who it is. We've not figured it out. But he's got a green belt on. So Elvis did his belt test here. You'll find a video of Elvis and Linda sitting there. Yeah, because, and you don't wear socks or a belt on the dojo floor. That's not a thing. So, and Billy Smith was leaning against the wall over there between those two mirrors. You'll find him in some photographs. So the kid was doing kata right here for Elvis to be raised to the next belt. So you see he's got his green belt. Elvis actually observed him and promoted him to the next belt sitting right here.
How cool would that be for you?
I have a feeling Linda will know who he is.
Yeah, I've asked
anybody ask her?
everybody, and nobody knows.
I bet you she knows. I don't know why I think that, but I feel like.
It's possible.
I'm hoping he finds our dojo.
And you can
Yeah,
see
he's still
the
alive.
vent. I'm
Who
sorry. You
knows?
see this vent right here? Yep, it's right there.
Oh, yeah.
That would be like so cool for him to walk in one day and say, yeah, I was the kid.
No, yeah, we're going to find it. Yeah. Eventually we'll find it. Yeah. So this paneling right here is original. What you see in this photo, this is. But this was white when we got the building. So we had to paint it back to make it look like paneling.
Now, this might be a silly question, but what is the significance to his, because it's red and black? Was that just a
Are you talking about his belt?
His belt, yeah.
Oh, that's
just something to wear.
Ceremonial belts that Connery had made for Elvis.
Okay.
That's not normal stuff.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, but Elvis got his 8th degree black belt in this building standing right over there. He was an 8th Dan in Passeru. And this is original from Connery's dojo in 1911, Poplar.
Oh.
That is from that. So that is original to Connery.
You got people here. What are they doing? What are the people doing? I hear voices.
Yeah, there's everybody getting ready.
We need to get done so that they can actually start making business.
But y'all tell everybody.
Absolutely.
This is an Elvis thing where we need all the Elvis fans to know.
Well, these three have an Elvis group with 100,000 people in
That's
it.
good.
So
Yeah, tell everybody.
thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Billy, so
This
much.
And you know, this is not
You're in
about-
our group.
Yes, I know, yes. And look, this is not about making money for us, although we need money, you know, it requires money to do this. This is about history. You know, I don't need money, Pat doesn't need money, but it requires money to keep this place going and pay employees and all that kind of stuff. But we also don't charge $100, you know, it's $15 to get in.
I was just gonna say, this is a very nice, relaxing, away from the corporate.
Yes.
This is, and it's part of Elvis's history, and I always kind of, when I was walking through here, I felt like this is the way Elvis would want his life presented.
Yes, yeah, I think so. I think that's fair.
You know, and
yeah.
I applaud you for
Yeah.
your vision with this
Well,
place.
I appreciate it. It's
just amazing.
I can't believe it's actually here, but it is. Pat and I were in this building and we were calling contractors and getting people over here and stuff, and we just could not pan. We couldn't pan. Either people were just crazy expensive, or they're like, yeah, we can get to it in a year. You know, that kind of stuff. So I finally looked at him one day and I said, man, if we're going to build this, me and you are going to have to build this. So
Now,
we
were
might
they
as well
crazy
get
expensive
started.
because they knew what this place was and they were going to take you?
No, I think they were crazy expensive because there's such a high demand. You know, I had a guy come in here and he was like, yeah, well, because I walked him around and said, okay, I want to add these walls here. I want to move that wall over there. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to paint this. I need to do this. He was like, yeah, I can do it. $50,000.
Oh.
And I'm like, so what is it that you're going to do? Well, I'll do what you just said. So, I mean, will you really? You know, you're going to build the jungle room for me.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, we could do that. Okay, based on what? You know, he didn't say, well, we need to draw up some plans. We need to get a plan. You know, it was like, yeah, just $50,000, we'll make it happen. Well, I reckon you will. You know, and so we just did it ourselves. Now, we had some contractors. We didn't do this painting. The way I did this paneling, I was really worried about the paneling. And I actually called a lady that did faux painting because I thought that would probably be the best way to go. To paint from that corner to that corner right there was $16,000. These two walls. Oh. Which is not in the budget, just like the carpet, $9,000. So what we did was Michael, the guy that was with us last night at the Ginger event, Michael Kreider, we met Michael through Dean. Dean sold him a truck, Dean Nicopolis. So Pat bought a truck from Dean and happened to be there, and Michael and Dean and Pat met. Michael actually builds houses here. So he has all these subcontractors that he knows that do stuff for his houses. So he was the one that arranged these guys to come in and do this. And what I wanted was, we had this whole building had been painted white, except for, as far as the paneling, except for in the very back, there was two pieces of paneling that was the dark color and the light color that had not been painted. So I had samples. So I took the sample of the light color, which all this was the light color, and if you looked at it straight on, it was brown. If you looked at it at an angle, it was red. So what I did was match the brown paint, and we first painted the stripes black, and then we taped them off. Then we painted the whole room brown, which is that brown. Then we came back and painted the red over it and took a tool that makes wood grain to make the brown pop through, to give it that wood look. And that's how we did it, to make it look like paneling. Yeah.
It's well done.
Yeah.
Really well done.
You're
And
an Imagineer in the Elvis world, whatever that
if you
equivalent
look in the
is.
photo, it's not exactly like it was, but it is as close as we can get it. And the most important thing is it is the original wood to the room.
Amazing.
And so I didn't want to change it to something else. You know, I wanted it to be original to the room. These panels are all original. I left the light bulbs over there because that's what you see. You see down there where it's still the light bulbs. Those square lights that you see in the picture there, 4 of them are in the back in that scene. The other 4 are in this Tiger Den. Yeah. So those are those that are in that photo with Elvis. All right.
Yeah.
What is it that you get?
The energy that he was in this room and spent a lot of time in this room. You feel it. You really do.
I mean, that's the thing. The karate he loved it. And you could feel that.
It was a huge part of Elvis.
It really was. It wasn't something he was forced to do, like the movies or something. This was like his passion. Karate was, and his way of just kind of relaxing and being who he wanted to be. I loved it. It was,
He did karate because he wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. He did karate because he wanted to. Absolutely.
It's not a
Absolutely.
And so the reason that we didn't restore the ambulance is, for a lot of us, Elvis is this mythological character.
Yes.
You know, so that makes him a real person.
That's what I was trying to say on the video.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to say that, because that's what you did
humanizes
say.
him.
It
Yes,
humanizes
that's
Elvis.
the word,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it does.
Billy, the question everybody's gonna know, are you gonna provide Kleenex or tissues?
Well,
in the
I
future?
think that's a
Yeah.
good idea. I
You're gonna
think we
need to
probably
bring your own.
need to.
You're gonna need
Yeah.
to.
It's gonna
Put
get
it on
you.
the wall like they do in the hotel room.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
it's like, you know, when you walk in Graceland, you feel his presence.
Yes.
No doubt. When I walked in Lauderdale Courts, was the same feeling.
Yeah.
You know, and the same thing is here. And that's I think this is probably the only 3 places that I've been, and all the places I've been, that you feel that.
That's awesome. Well, this is a labor of love for us. You know, we want to tell the Elvis story. You know, and there's so many facets of it. The karate facet is something that nobody's really touched on.
No.
Yeah, and it was a huge part of his life. I believe that it was an escape from the loss of his mother, because that's when it started for him, and he immersed himself in it from that point.
Dave, make a testimonial video.
I can't, man.
He's overwhelmed. He's feeling it. Yeah.
His face says it all.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Hey everybody, my name is Krista Joy. I'm with TCBRadioNetwork.com. And just like any Elvis fan, every Elvis fan should come and see the dojo. This is unbelievable, and it's nothing less than what you expect from Billy Stallings, the spa guy. His attention to detail, his history, it's all here, and you can almost feel it in the air. You feel Elvis still here in this building. The ambulance is like nothing. I mean, we had expectations. You think it's kind of morbid and scary, and do I really want to see the ambulance? But you need to come see it, because it really makes Elvis into a man. It makes him personal for you. And really, like, I had an emotional experience. It's like nothing you're going to see at Graceland, nothing that Elvis Presley Enterprises could even present to you. You've got to come out and visit the dojo and make it first on your list for Elvis Week or any time of year. I know they're going to be open 365 or close to it, to make sure that you're able to experience this for yourself. It's really unbelievable, and I hope that you'll come check it out.
Pretty fast. So hopefully we'll see you there on August 19th as we celebrate Elvis and the 60th anniversary of Follow That Dream.
60th? Incredible.
62.
Stay tuned for the next episode tomorrow. Same Globetrotting time, same Globetrotting channel.
That's decent. Compared to last year,
It's Elvis Week. Alabama.
There you go. And I just said we didn't care about Alabama. I guess I didn't mean it. Sweet home, Alabama.
Well, I would tell you to drive Elvis style down Elvis Presley Boulevard.
All right,
You already got
let's
one.
do it.
You already got one ticket this week.
Yeah. That guy can stick that ticket in his.
Yeah, I wonder what it was like on these streets for Elvis. Just like what you're about to do. Was it like this?
It was a lot faster than this. You ready to go fast?
Let's do it.
What's all these people doing?
Where Elvis Presley is tonight.
Miles per hour.
Elvis in his black, what, studs?
Yeah, we're in the studs. I get through this light, I'm really gonna go. You ready?
All right, I'm holding on.
73 on EP Boulevard right there.
73 on EP Boulevard. Don't try this at home.
Do not.
We do not recommend. Just leave that to us.
Yeah, we're professional stunt.
Hey, I wish we had that red Ferrari that red, what's a Ferrari?
Black Ferrari.
No, the red one in Vegas.
Oh, that was a Lamborghini.
I mean,
yeah, if we had that red Lambo, I'd run all up and down here like a fool.
We had that red Lambo, man. Dang.
That thing was fast.
What did you get up to on that, Billy?
135.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, go and check out the Spa Guys Las Vegas video when we rented the Lambo and drove it out in the desert, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There's the gates.
Yeah, did you see they had it blocked where nobody could pull off?
Can you believe that? Why?
What a bunch of jackasses.
Why would you do
How
that?
about that?
Why would you do that, EP? Why would they do
If the
that?
fans want to come and see and go to the gate, y'all are blocking it so fans can't get there. You need to be there when, if some idiot comes up to do something stupid, but you don't need to keep the fans from going there. They've been going there for 60 years.
It's Elvis week and you can't even get to the gate tonight.
What in the world is going on? What a bunch of maroons.
Come on, EP, you're better than that.
Are they?
I would hope so. Man, come on. The fans are the one that make them have a job, in my opinion, right?
Yeah. Without the fans, there ain't nothing.
Without the fans, there's not one thing.
It's like us making videos. Nobody watches them. What good is it?
It's no good at all.